Hello and welcome, guys. This is Developer Choice Programming Voice. We are just looking some interview questions for the Java, especially related to the object oriented. So here, the first questions: what is the compositions and inheritance in Java? Why is the compositions is way better than inheritance? So compositions is the design technique in object-oriented programming to implement a hazard relationship between objects. So that means it has an has a relationship. Compositions is in Java is achieved by using the instance variables of other object. So inheritance is a concept of extending the superclass functionality and services. On the other hand, like inheritance for being a child class. So inheritance is tightly coupled, where compositions is loosely coupled. There is no access control in inheritance, whereas access can be restricted in compositions. So one more benefits of compositions or inheritance is testing scopes. So unit testing is easy in compositions because we know what all methods we are using from another classes. So here are the two examples with programming. So with the university as one classes, we have department and other classes and faculty and other classes. So on the left hand side, code is designed for the compositions where we are injecting the classes as data types for another classes. So compositions follow the has a relationship or a part of relationship concept. It is unlike aggregations, but it has strictly strong entities, which means if one destroyed, other is also destroyed. In below code, department and faculties are the compositions, whereas university is aggregations to department and faculties. So here in this code from 5 to 13 is a university, it's a one class, and we have another department and the faculty classes. So in the department classes, we have injected the university classes on there as the data types, right? So this shows like if department is destroyed, university still exist. So university has many departments, so but without department, uh, still the university existed. But when there is no university, there is no department. So this is the the basic examples of compositions. Basic examples of aggregations, not the compositions, but compositions with the department and faculties. So there is a department, so there is a faculty. So when there is a faculty, then only the department is possible. So both are so much tightly related with each other. So one is destroyed, another is also destroyed, but not in the case of universities. If department is destroyed, still the university exists. If faculties is destroyed, still the universities exist. So this is the this is the aggregations examples. But in case of class for department and class for faculties, they are tightly related to each other. So if one is destroyed, another is also destroyed. So this is called aggregation. This is called compositions. So let's see on the right hand side where you can see the inheritance follow the concept of either relationship. Here we can see the person in the superclasses and husband and student in subclasses or derived classes. The subclasses is also called derived classes, which will extend the functionality and service of the superclasses. So person is a superclasses for husband and students. So what is extending? The husband can be person, student can be person. Now, this is the very basic examples how the inheritance is. So person, husband is a person, and student is a person. So it has an easy relationship. So now let's move to another question. So what is inheritance in Java? So basically, we already have a good concept of inheritance in the previous slides, but does the multiple inheritance is supported in Java? If yes, no, why? So inheritance is one of the key features of the OOPS that allow us to create a new class from the existing class. So inheritance is a follow-up concept of either relationship by extending the superclass functionality and the service by subclass. So inheritance is tightly coupled, which means one class is dependent to other classes, and there is no access control in inheritance. So, and then basically we know that no multiple inheritance is supported in the Java because of ambiguity problems. It created a problem during the various operations like casting, constructor chaining, etc. So the right side code here throws errors since it don't know which function methods to call. So let's see first the left side of code, left hand side of code. So here's the class person1 string names in A's. So it's extending the my class is extending the person1 um, informations into its own class. So when we see the public static in the main methods, we created the object for the my class mc.rahul. Now we are just giving the name, which is a Rahul, and then just printing that names. So, and this is a good things like when you extend. So the person one has the can access all the information of child classes. That's what it's trying to say. So person one pr equals to new my classes. So you can assign the parent class can assign the child class as a variable. So its values. It's as its values. So when you do like pr.names and put the names there, so here it will print the Siva. So these are the two examples where you can see like, but you can do like my class equals to a person one, new person one. So that's like where you're assigning the parent class as to the child class. That's not allowed in Java. So now let's see the right hand side. So these will create issues which fun need to be called in testing class. So this conflict is avoided by not using a multiple inheritance concept in Java. So public class parent one void fun, public class parent two void fun again because we have two different classes with the same methods. So when you extend that public class testing extend parent one and parent two, and now you're saying that testing test equals to new testing test.fun. Now it's completely uh, get confused. The compiler get completely confused. So which fun method need to be called from which parent class? So this is how the multiple inheritance is not supported, but multiple um, interface. So multiple inheritance concept will be uh, achieved by using the interface by implementing the different interface. Now let's see another. What is the difference between the equal methods and equality operators? So both the equal operators and equals methods are used to compare a two values type data items or reference types data items. The equality operators equal is a comparisons operators and equal methods compare the content of a strings. So the equal operator compare the references identity where the equal methods compare only the content. So like see in the example, so string st1 equals to hello, string st2 equals to hello, st3 equals to new string hello. We created now another object over here, and string 4 equals to string 3. So we are cloning the object for string 3 into the string 4 variables. So now when you print check equal methods, there is a two different methods created. There's public static booleans check equal methods string 1 string 2. If string 1 dot equals to string 2 return true, else return false. Another method has static booleans check equal operator string 1 and string 2. If string 1 equals to string 2 return true. Now when you pass the arguments to the parameters of these methods, what it shows like equal check equal methods st1 and st2, because the content of both st1 and st2 is same, so it will return a true. So now check equal methods st1 and st3. So now Content of the st1 and st3 is also same. That's a hello. So it will return the true again. Now see in the line number 12. So it says st1 and st3, but the operator, but the methods we are using is equal operators to check here. So check equal operators st1 and st3, which is not equal because st1 is one object and st3 is another object. So it's checking the references, and both objects have different references. So which means it returns a false. But let's see the line number 13 where it says check equal operators, where st4 and st3 is true because because it's cloning the object, so both objects have the same references. So it's checking the references. Is it same? Yes, it's same. So that's what do the equal operators and equal methods do. So what is encapsulation in Java? Point out some features as well as how is encapsulation achieved in Java. So encapsulation is a technique for wrapping a codes and data members in a single unit. Uh, we can achieve encapsulation by declaring all the variables in a class as a private and writing a public methods in the class to to set and get the values of the variables. So normally this method is called getter and setters. So some advantages are data hidings, easy to test, reuse of code, and security. For the security reasons, we are using encapsulations now. How this achieved? This is achieved by creating the private fields and accessing the private field by using the getter and setter methods. So you can see in examples. So public here in the class example encapsulations, private string person name, private string int person age. Now we are using a getter and setter to set the values of this method. So this will be these fields, two fields will completely hide from other classes. So it's hiding. It's also called a hiding or wrapping a code into the one single unit. So what is garbage collection in Java? How can be object on references? What are the methods that executed during garbage collections when object is not created using new? So these pretty interesting questions. Most of the times, uh, interviewer can ask you these questions. So garbage collection is a process of reclaiming the runtime unused memory by destroying the unused object and free the heap space for newly created an object. So JVMs takes care of allocating and deallocating of memories. So we never worried about garbage collections in Java. It is done automatically by Java virtual machines. So how can be object on references? Object can be on references by nulling the references, by assigning the reference to another, by anonymous object. We can see on the right hand side, look, student st equals to new student, so st equals to null. So by nulling the references. Another is by assigning the reference to the another class, another object. So where you can say my assign references to another. So a student st1 and a student st2, which is st1 equals to st2. Now first object refers to the st1 is ready to garbage collection. Now let's see for the third one by anonymous object. So new student without creating anything, so just creating a new student rather than creating an object. So garbage collections of JVM collect only those objects that are created by the new word. It's very important points. So if you have created an object without a new, you can use a finalize methods to perform a cleanup processing. So destroying remaining object. So use the finalized. Why can't we override static or private or final methods in Java? So no, we can't override static methods because method overriding is based on the dynamic bindings at runtimes, and the static methods are bounded using a static binding at compile time. So we cannot override a static methods if static methods are redefined by the derived class. That is not methods overriding, but method hidings. You can see in the three different examples in the below. The first one is it says that this is the method hiding, which is related to the static. The middle one is related to the overridings, right? So which is like for the private. So when you declare some private methods, and the other third one is for the final. So again, for the private methods, overriding is not possible in Java because private methods in Java are not visible to any other class. So which limit their scopes to the class which they are redefined or declared, in which they are redefined or declared. Because once you declare the private, none of the classes can, also the classes can be access that methods or instance of variables or in variables. So let's see, the another one is a final. In case for final methods, overriding is not possible because that is a proposal of keyword. Sometimes that cannot be changed or overridden. Hence, we cannot modify our final methods from the subclasses because once you declare anything's finals, that means it's a constant. It cannot be changed. Neither it can be overridden. So, can you explain differences between these and super? This is so much important question again here. So I'm just going quickly about the definitions, but the examples on the down it will show you so much clearly, like you understands what is how when these and the super methods are used here. So super and keyword, super as well, super and this keyword, super as well as these keywords both are used to make a constructor call. So they are used for the constructor call. Super is used to call the base class constructor, that is the parent class, and while this is used to call the current class constructor. So that means let's see the left hand side examples. So we have a class called check, and the check has a constructor called string, and inside the strings we print im and this variables a. Now let's see another extended class, my class, which extends the check class inside it. So my class, so string a. So inside the constructor of a my class, we call the constructor of a constructor of a parent class using the super. So super and a. So when my class string a, that a is passed to the um, as an argument to the super of the parent class. So public static void means so my class MC equals to new my class Java developers. So which means like you are passing the values to the constructor strings, and that is string value will be passed to the parent's constructor. So which means like it will print I am Java developer. The Java developer will be passed as check string a system.out.print im plus a, which is the constructor of our super parent classes. So this is how the super is used. You are using the supers to call the constructor of the parent class. Now let's see to the middle of the code. So there is an there is a class called my class. My class has one empty default constructor and another constructor we created with the using a strings a and another constructor again creating with the two parameters string a and int b. So what we did is in my class we call the string a int b and system.out.print name is a and a is b. Okay, now what we did, like call the we created an object called MC inside the main methods and pass that strings texts inside the uh, parameterized constructors which has a string A, my class string A. So these RAM and 25. Now what happened is like first it will print the RAM. My name is RAM and age is 25, because this is called in the top of that inside the constructor on the top, because all these is always called in the first line of code. So system.out I am from, now when you pass the string a, it will call Texas. So the whole concept will be given in the output as name is Ram and age is 25, because this Ram and 25 will be passed to this constructor my class string a and is in p, and that will print first, and then another line will print the uh, variables that has been passed to the my class string a. So when you see this code, when you repeat and see the code in practice, you understand what these all are. Might looks like a little confusing, but it's completely clear. Now let's see the right hand side code. So where it says check and check string a, system dot my nationality is dash. Now look here, we are using first the first right hand side code is an example for super, and middle is for the days, and the right hand side is using with the days and super both, and mixing both and seeing how it's working. So we have a class called check and constructors. We have a two different constructor, check and with parameterized check with the string a. My nationality is a. Now my class extending the check. So here, this is very important to notice. So when your parent class check has empty default constructors created already, you also have to, by default, you also have to create a default constructor in your my class inside your my class. Otherwise, it's gonna throw an error. So here is another my class string a. This RAM 25. I am a. Now we have another class called another constructor called my class string a and string b, and we're passing super American. Inside the super we are passing American, and then system.out that my name is a and my and a is b. So what happens, like when you call the constructors of my class MC equals to new my class Texas, and you're passing the Texas. Now you see that the output will be on the right hand side. You can see there, my nationality is Americans, name is Ram, and age is 25. I'm from Texas. This is how the super works, because the my class string A and int B passes the super American, which is a parent class. So my nationality is, and then American will be passed to there. So it says my nationality is American, and then it will print the int A, string A, and int B, which is passing these called my strings A. So which is RAM and 25. So this is how the these and super works. So hope you guys like the videos, and there will be more examples and definitions about the questions for the interview questions in the Java. So this is going to help you a lot to understand, and um, it will give you more ideas how to manipulate the other related questions, and you can like make it some changes and just explain uh, based on these modifications. So I guess like this was very helpful videos for you, and these are the very important questions. Most of the interviewers they repeat these questions every time, so try not to forget to understand how this concept is working, and again not to forget for the subscriptions also. So